What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Clarified Moments, the podcast. I want to personally thank you guys for choosing to tune in. Hopefully, we can bring some value, some clarity, of course, to your space, your world, your situation, your perspective. And more importantly, hopefully, we can bring some clear conscious thought, which is the ability to use critical thinking skills, purpose skills in the moment to master the moment and make better decisions in the moment. So let's get right into it. Today's topic will be making sense of it all. All these narratives. I mean, it's crazy right now. So much information, so many layers. And we have a lot of narratives, a lot of information, a lot of layers to sift through, a lot of layers to choose from. We have the narrative against the police, the narrative for the police. We have the narrative against the riots, for the riots, against the looters, for the looters. What's crazy is I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds hard to believe. Um, but I even have a few in my closest circle that are advocating looting and rioting under the notion that nothing else has worked. So what we're going to do is try to bring a level of clarity to some of these narratives today. The first narrative I want to address or debunk is the skin tone narrative, the narrative that skin tone somehow, some way innately influences your ability to choose right or wrong, to do good or evil. We already know that's not the case. We know that all choices are made by the person beneath the surface of the skin. And they are driven by certain biases that we're going to touch on. There's certain biases that may influence these choices to bring value and add value or take away value, however you want to put it. But skin tone has very little to do with it. We already know that the choice is made by the person that's wrapped in the skin. There's good and bad people on both sides of the fence. Come from all walks of life. I know there's a lot of people that don't subscribe to this, but it's the reality of the situation. But of course, in this situation that we're in, this polarizing situation, it's caused some of us to revert back, to some of these old biases that, we're trying to move away from. Our skin tone is not an organ. It doesn't think. It doesn't formulate ideals. It's merely the genetic result of our parents in which we have no choice. Yet the ability to use our brains to reason, to formulate ideas, context, clarity is indeed a choice. Man, I'm a firm believer in the energy produces energy. My question is, are you aiding and abetting and producing a type of energy or hatred and or revenge under the disguise of justice and fairness and what's quote unquote right, pushing certain narratives that are either too broad to confirm or too loose to definitively identify? And we've been given this unique, gracious platform called human existence or life. And we're spiritual beings participating in this temporary life experience. What's the purpose of this temporary life experience? What's the purpose, man? Why were we put here? Were we put here to operate in a high degree of purpose? Let me break it down so you guys can understand. There's three laws of purpose: philosophy, strategy, and compromise. It's these three laws that determine your degree of purpose. What is your philosophy on life? What is your strategy on life? And will you compromise? Will you compromise on life? What lens are you seeing through right now? I truly do believe we have to start observing our thoughts. The type of observation that leads us to seeing our own perspectives and biases and those things that influence our existence and our performance. You know, we are experts in empowering Black communities, our brown sisters and brothers, through racial heritage or history, and shedding light on perceived injustices and in advocating the importance of education, and awareness, and responsibility, and continuing to push for social, economic, and racial balance and equality. But we fall short in empowering the importance of bringing a greater sense of value and a greater sense of purpose to human potential, to human existence. The ability to reach our full potential has nothing to do with our skin tone. I can't say that enough, man. Don't have anything to do with what we wrapped in. Economics, privilege, even justice. And everything to do with your philosophy, your strategy, and if you're compromising in life. A wise man once said, purpose is the genius by which the collective power of human potential must be explored. Webster Dictionary defines protest as expressing a strong objection to. Human potential won't be achieved by protesting in the streets alone, man. It certainly won't be by rioting and looting and destroying things, although I'm pretty confident that those participating in these things, they're not even really thinking about that anyway. It won't be achieved through ongoing anger or outrage. Human potential will only be achieved through the process of protesting against those philosophies and strategies and compromises that don't serve our greater purpose, that actually undermine our ability to affect and influence change at its core, which is the heart. I've been saying it all along. So much zombie-like thought right now. Simply put, you know, too many of us are being led by emotion, man, instead of clear conscious thought, reason, critical thinking skills, purpose skills. I remember the movie Belly. I don't know if you guys remember that movie or not, but Sincere, which was Nas, you know, he was talking to DMX, Tommy. They were sitting in the car, and he was asking him, have you ever read a book? And Tommy just spazzed. He just spazzed out, and he basically told him, you know, the purpose of life ain't nothing about, it's not about nothing but to get money. He said, it ain't no purpose, dog. It's money. He said, we were born to effing die. In the meantime, get this money. I used to have this philosophy, man. I used to have that strategy, and I used to have that level of compromise. And if we honest with ourselves, humanity is struggling with this same level of philosophy, strategy, and compromise. When we gonna get it, man? We have the wrong strategy, the wrong philosophy, and we're constantly compromising, and humanity's reaching its full potential and solving America's most complex issues we're dealing with. We're dealing with a heart issue, a decision issue. You know, some might say that racism is a choice, and I guess you'll be right to a certain extent, but so is hatred and bitterness and revenge. Saying comments and statements that lead to biases, unsupported narratives, and conspiracies that really undermine the core of what prevents humanity from reaching its full potential. When we're going to get it? It's time, man. It's time for us to make sense of it all. You guys take care. Hopefully this brought a level of clarity and perspective, clear conscious thought to your space, to your perspective, and again, to your world. Take care.